Okay. Let me see the live stream, see if it's working. Dorf. Cetro. There it is. Okay, let's go to my stream, see if it's like on. Okay, alright, it is. Now, Hulk versus Doomsday. Alright, let's see what they up to now.
Acepta el reto de aprender diferente. Vive la experiencia donde...
Oh shit, sorry. Didn't mean to.
Game Super Red Ray Gun just launched on Steam for PC, Mac, and Linux. With over 20 unique levels, 3 modes of play, and tongue-in-cheek story of 1980s politics, it's a whole lot of value for just $9.99. And pick it up by November 15th, and we'll even give you the soundtrack featuring music from Phantom NK and Bubble Pipe Media for free. Click the link in the description after the video and get your copy today.
Pure, unadulterated rage. Usually, in a stressful situation, you'd want to avoid this sort of emotion in order to keep yourself focused.
Unless you're a giant rampaging pile of muscles, like these two.
Dr. Bruce Banner, the Incredible Hulk.
And Doomsday, the monster who killed Superman. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
That's literally Doomsday's best feat. Doomsday's best feat is literally keeping up with Superman as well as beating Superman. He doesn't have any AP feats that include planet busting. Well, it was when he destroyed the moon, but that's besides it. There's no better feats than, like, no better AP feats above moon level. And if we're considering, you know, him overpowering Superman, then that's pretty much it. That's the only one, but the majority of Doomsday's feats are highballed.
Each of us, oft times, there dwells a mighty and raging fury, and this suits no one better than the mild-mannered scientist, Bruce Banner.
'Cause when Bruce gets angry, oh boy, you wouldn't like him when he's angry.
Dr. Robert Bruce Banner may have grown up with few friends, but what he lacked in popularity, he made up tenfold with his intellect. However, in spite of his gifts, it was never enough to earn the respect and love of his father.
Partly because Bruce was so smart that his alcoholic dad literally thought he was a monster and expressed that to Bruce pretty thoroughly. God damn! How much distance do you think you got there, Wiz?
9, 10 feet?
Man, with an arm like that, he could really go places. Like the nut house after he murdered his wife right in front of Bruce.
That has to be really traumatic.
Understandably traumatized, Bruce coped by creating an imaginary friend to talk to.
You know, I had an imaginary friend once.
You did? What was his name?
Fun fact.
Dad.
Hulk does have an imaginary friend.
Well, Bruce's friend served as an emotional outlet all the way through his college graduation. However, his advice to Bruce was oftentimes destructive.
So when the U.S. military recruited Bruce to make weapons, it was actually kind of fitting.
Bruce was tasked with developing a gamma bomb, which would use gamma radiation to target enemy weapons and buildings without endangering human lives. At least, that's what Bruce was told.
Surprise, surprise! Gamma radiation is actually pretty fucking harmful. And when it came time to test the bomb and some dumb kid decided to play his harmonica right in the test zone, Bruce asked his assistant to stop the countdown and dashed off to save him. But turns out his assistant was a Russian spy who set off the bomb anyway.
On that strange, strange day, Bruce's imaginary friend became a real-life terror as he transformed into the Incredible Hulk.
I hope they put like the actual comic feats, durability feats that Immortal Hulk runs have, because they're usually putting World Breaker, and World Breaker is pretty overrated when it comes to all of Hulk's iterations, and by comparing like feats from World Breaker, all of them are overrated. Because every feat that World Breaker has is planet busting, and we all know that Hulk has higher than planet busting feats, like collapsing the universe, destroying it completely, and breaking free from chains forged by the first firmament. We're strong enough to hold eternity, as well as destroying the avatar of the one above all, which that's what makes him low outer, considering the avatar literally can erase anything. I mean, because it's the representation of God himself in Marvel, the one above all. And the fact that Hulk was able to like tank his light beam and one shot him is crazy.
Really?
Yes, apparently. Ever since, whenever he's angry, Bruce's body and mind morphs into that of the Hulk's, granting him unmeasurable power.
While he loses Bruce's brain power, the Hulk is ridiculously strong. He can leap great distances, survive the harshest environments, and most importantly, smash the crap out of everything with his bare fists.
He also knows a technique known as the Thunderclap, which creates a shockwave.
The Hulk has a healing factor that gives Wolverines a run for his money.
You're healing. You should be dead.
He's super
I mean, Hulk's healing is literally better than Wolverine's. It doesn't give a run for Wolverine's durability. It doesn't give a run for his money, because literally Hulk can heal from pure atomization. Like, just his gamma being, his gamma senses, his gamma energy, one drop of gamma energy that is in his body, even though he gets deleted, that one gamma energy will still be there, and it will regenerate everything. Every single part of Hulk's being gets regenerated. He can't die.
strong and super hard to kill. What's not to like?
Well, there's one
Super hard to kill, more like impossible to kill. The only way to kill him is literally destroying the green door, and someone has to have hacks BFR to actually delete that door. Impossible to
little
delete.
detail that kind of ruins the whole experience. Bruce can't really control the Hulk. In fact, the Hulk is his own being, and they both hate each other, vying for dominance over Bruce's body. And yet, Bruce and the Hulk are often reminded how much they depend on each other for survival.
Bruce figured if he was stuck with this big green Goliath forever, he might as well try using it for good, eventually joining the Avengers, Defenders, the Fantastic Four, and even the Illuminati.
The Illuminati, what the fuck? Anyways, the Defenders were actually pretty underrated, I'm not gonna lie. Defender as a team, which consisted of Silver Surfer, Namor, Hulk. Bro, that team was OP as fuck.
Hulk has held up a 150 billion ton mountain.
Started splitting apart, threatening to shatter the whole world. He just jumped right in there and pulled the planet back together.
The estimated average mass of a single lithospheric plate is nearly 45 quintillion tons, and the Hulk pulled two of these together with nothing but his bare hands.
And he's not just
And bro was He was exhausted while doing that feat. He was fighting for days.
Strong and tough, he's more than twice as fast as a fighter jet, which puts him over Mach 5 speeds at least, and he can always go faster if he's pissed off enough.
This is because the Savage Hulk's strength is directly related to his anger. The angrier he gets,
That's his raw speed. And easily, I'm pretty sure Hulk's speed is immeasurable. In terms of reaction speed, Hulk is immeasurable when it comes to reaction speed, because every being that supposed to be high outer or B tier outer, single statement Beyonder said, which confirms it. Beyonder measures Hulk's. Look at this. It says right here. God damn, I can't go inside. It's laggy. Yeah, I guess. It is kind of laggy. Can you hear me at least? Can you hear me? It says it right here. I still do, and I wish to learn more about it. That was my original purpose in coming to you. I want to study the banner side of your brain, and wait a minute, it's missing. There's no Banner persona inside of you. Somehow Bruce Banner has been separated from the Hulk. No wonder you're more vicious now. You are nothing but raging power personified, an infinity of power with no finite element inside. Which confirms he doesn't have a limit. He has infinite strength.
to the fullest, he truly lives up to his name of Worldbreaker.
Bigger, stronger, and oozing with gamma radiation, the Worldbreaker Hulk is so powerful, with a single stump he created earthquakes felt hundreds of miles away. In his battle with Sentry, basically Marvel Superman, they almost destroyed New York. And when battling another Worldbreaker Hulk, a single collision between them obliterated an entire planet.
Even the mutant Darwin's power.
That's not any planet. That's Dormammu's planet. And you know what Dormammu's planet consists of? Having multiple dimensions, infinite amount of dimensions in that planet. And Hulk was able to destroy it.
Specifically adapts to counter any enemy, decided that the best defense against the Hulk was to be somewhere else.
Holy hell! Who could even stand up to this madness?
Not many, obviously. Typically, Bruce does his best to contain and limit the Hulk's power. In fact,
It's like Zeus hit him so hard, it burned out his healing factor.
but even gods sometimes have to learn the hard way. You do not mess with the Incredible Hulk.
I am a god, you dull creature, and I will not be bullied by that.
What if all you had ever known was hatred and aggression, violence?
It's either not high above moon level, right? Not high above moon level, or just Superman feats of him beating Superman. I can assure you, it's gonna be in between moon level, or it's gonna be all the 1v1s Doomsday did against Superman, and that he managed to win.
This life is reality for
YouTube comments, Doomsday, yeah, the Doomsday guy.
Thousands of years ago, on an uninhabitable prehistoric planet which would one day be known as Krypton, a scientist named Bertrand intended to engineer the ultimate life form.
Yep, it's another one of those stories, but with one hell of a twist.
See, at this time, Krypton was a harsh wasteland filled with nothing but sharp rocks, poisonous air, and violent predators.
Bertrand,
And through a rapidly accelerated evolution process, attempted to transform him into his dream creation.
wild to get murdered by any number of things, sucked up what was left of him with a vacuum cleaner, and just cloned a new one out of the mess to do it all over again.
Well, yeah. The idea being each new clone would be stronger than the one before, thus covering millions of years of evolution in just a few decades. Of baby murder, one of the successful as Bertrand's had been a year and had never quite figured out what to do if his experiment actually worked. Because Bertrand is the worst.
I mean, he did do what he set out to do. He made an 8'10" monster that doesn't need to eat, breathe, or have internal organs to live. It just kills and kills and kills some more.
Doomsday possesses enormous strength, incredible durability, and poisonous spike to adapt to his opponent's powers.
After taking his sweet
Yes, he can adapt to his opponent's power, but it has never been explicitly stated that he can adapt to any threat infinitely.
ship and ravaged dozens of planets until he finally found himself on Earth.
On that day, Doomsday did the unthinkable. On that day, Doomsday killed Superman. Well, kind of. He actually put him into a super sleep. After several days, he kind of woke up more powerful.
Yeah, we all know Wiz. At least
Told you.
Oops took Doomsday down with him.
I told you he was gonna bring up the Superman feat. That's his only feat that Doomsday. The only feat that Doomsday got. He has no feat above Moon level or that he just beat Superman. Pretty much it.
Or maybe not. Turns out, whenever Doomsday dies, he just comes back to life, forever immune to whatever killed him in the first place.
Can't beat me the same way twice.
He's been punched to death by Superman, blasted apart by the Radiant's energy, brutally ripped in half, incinerated by Imperiex, and just curb stomped by a Kryptonian horde.
Practically invulnerable at this point, Doomsday's taken on Darkseid, tanking his Omega beams and beating him to near death. He single-handedly defeated most of the Justice League and took on an energy attack that wiped out a fifth of a planet.
He's punched through the Phantom Zone, battled super beings called Gogs for a century, and even he's been punched to death by Superman, blasted apart by the Radiant's energy, brutally ripped in half, incinerated by Imperiex, and just curb stomped by a Kryptonian horde.
Practically invulnerable at this point, Doomsday's taken on Darkseid, tanking his Omega beams and beating him to near death. He single-handedly defeated most of the Justice League and took on an energy attack that wiped out a fifth of a planet.
He's punched through the Phantom Zone, battled super beings called Gogs for a century, and even broken Wonder Woman's arms. Arms strong enough to help pull the Earth.
And during his rematch with the Man of Steel, after witnessing Doomsday survive an explosion equivalent to 1 million nukes, Superman realized that the only way to stop him was to send him to the end of time.
At his most powerful, Doomsday's mere presence can boil the ocean and disintegrate buildings. A casual stroll across Africa made wildebeest an endangered species just by walking around. But
Nothing that impresses me so far that Hulk hasn't done yet. That Hulk hasn't done.
what he's got in strength, he really lacks in brains.
Not that he's dumb, he just literally lacks a brain. More often than not, Doomsday is little more than a one-track mind-killing machine. This makes his intentions predictable, and a clever opponent could use this to, say, lead him into a trap. And should that foe come up with a new way to hurt Doomsday, he could be killed.
Still, that's gonna be pretty goddamn hard to do.
That's his best feat, by the way.
Alright, the combatants are set. Let's end this debate once and for all.
But first, Wiz won't stop talking about this thing, so he wants to tell you about it.
As a man of science, I analyze everything from the car I drive to the razor that shaves my face. I only use a razor I've scientifically proven to be of both quality and value. I use Harry's. Thanks to their factory in Germany, Harry's produces quality razors at half the price. Just $2 a blade. Harry's sleek 5-blade razor offers a softer flex hinge, trimmer blade, textured handle for control, and a lubricating strip to help soothe the skin. But if you're like me, you'll want to try it for yourself. Harry's is so confident in their razor, they'll send you a trial set absolutely free when you subscribe. Just pay $3 for shipping. And as a viewer of Deathbattle, you can get a free bottle of post-shave balm, which soothes and relieves skin after shaving and helps reduce redness. Just enter the code DEATHBATTLE at checkout. So head on over to harrys.com by clicking the link in the description below and get your free trial set and post-shave balm. Just remember, use the code DEATHBATTLE at checkout.
But right now, it's time for a death battle!
almost fall asleep, bro. I swear. I'm sorry, I'm gonna focus on this.
Hulk smash ugly vehicles!
Yeah, man. GG's done. They didn't prove anything. I'm going to... do I really have to debunk this? Do I really have to debunk this? Do I really have to debunk this while sleeping? Bro, the fucking ads, bro. Let me close this shit. God damn.
With the Hulk's immeasurable power and Doomsday's impossible immortality, this truly felt like a fight between an unstoppable force and an immovable object.
Hulk may have had the advantage in raw strength, at least at his full potential, but Doomsday could certainly hold his ground. His victories against the likes of Superman and Darkseid prove he can take a hit from someone strong enough to break planets.
And by experience, Doomsday had the speed advantage. He regularly...
Wait, what did he say?
His
pick between an unstoppable force and an immovable object.
Hulk may have had the advantage in raw strength, at least at his full potential, but Doomsday could certainly hold his ground. His victories against the likes of Superman and Darkseid prove he can take a hit from someone strong enough to break planets.
And by experience, Doomsday had the speed advantage. He regularly fights foes with light speed capabilities, while that kind of speed is an extreme rarity in the Marvel Universe. In fact, the only foe that fast who Hulk's ever seemed to keep pace with in a one-on-one match was Sentry, and that was when he was at his most powerful stage, Worldbreaker.
So overall, Hulk had strength and Doomsday had speed, but neither completely outclassed the other. At first glance, this one looked like it could go either way.
Which means the devil's in the very tiny details.
So why couldn't the Hulk's infinite strength just keep rising and eventually overwhelm Doomsday?
Well, even assuming Hulk's strength was infinite, his healing factor was not. Don't get me wrong, it can only be overtaxed by hits from absurdly powerful